Hi everybody, this is Brian Koo with another ROK video answering the question today, are Marauders worth it in 2025? Now, the Marauder Stage of Eve of the Crusade, it used to be a really big event in Rise of Kingdoms. I can remember doing this event in a group of people back in the early days of this game. We weren't strong enough to kill these Marauders without losing health on our marches. I can also remember a YouTuber named Grey Worm who did a 48-hour live stream one time killing Marauders. This was a really good opportunity to get a lot of useful items and also progress your team in the Eve of the Crusade event, right? That was in the old days. Nowadays, the Marauder stage of Eve of the Crusade has really lost its luster. Not a lot of people do it seriously anymore. It's not something that people talk about or get too excited about. A couple of years ago, I think Lilith did nerf the rewards of this event pretty significantly. That's the main thing that reduced the enthusiasm for this thing. I also know that in this Marauder event that I did this time, and I was very focused on the Marauder event this time, I finished in about 20th place. Some people were complaining about lower drop rates for the parchments that you get from the Marauders that you then sort of convert into kingdom chests. That's one reason that Marauders are not as popular as they used to be. The other reason is just because there are more events and there are more ways to get a lot of these items. Lilith has been more generous in other parts of the game, and they've been less generous with the Marauders, and so players are reacting pretty rationally by not putting as much time and, just as importantly, not putting as many action points into the Marauder event. You know, there are higher level barbarians now in the Lost Kingdom. There are higher level barbs also in the Home Kingdom, so you can pretty much chain barbs year round. People have also realized that doing forts is very useful because it gives alliance rewards, and then in the Lost Kingdom, for example, you can load up a bunch of your farms into a single barb fort rally and get like really good rewards that way. So there are some good ways to use your AP outside of Marauders, and also the rewards have been nerfed a little bit relative to some of the other events in the game. I mean, nowadays like right now we have the Shadow Legion and the Silk Road event going on. I think last week we had Soroli and Golden Kingdom. Soroli comes around way more often than it used to, so there's just a lot of ways to get rewards in Rise of Kingdoms these days, and so Marauders have sort of fallen by the wayside as a result. Now, that being said, I did put a lot of effort into the Marauder stage this time. I had free time, and I also had a lot of AP. This is the other side of the story, right? Like, yes, the Marauders are not as good as they used to be. The other side of that is we are getting more AP in the game nowadays also. Everyone's doing more forts. You're getting more AP from forts. And, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure what else is giving us all this AP, but I just find that I have a lot more AP nowadays than I used to. I used to run out of AP during some Lost Kingdoms. Lately, I've been leaving Lost Kingdom with like 175 to 190,000 AP, which was just unheard of a few years ago. And so this is what happened. I had time. I had 190,000 AP. I thought, let's do the Marauder event. Let's use some of this AP that's just been kind of building up for a long time. I ended up using about 115,000 AP on my main. So I went from 190,000 AP down to 75,000 AP. That's still a comfortable amount to have going into the Lost Kingdom. And quite honestly, this was a couple days ago. I added up my AP earlier today, and I was up to about 84,000 AP. So you can build it back up quite quickly as well. I do some stuff in the Home Kingdom, like barb camps. You can see my Marauders kind of near a barb camp on the screen now. I'll do these barb camps sometimes, and those will give AP as well. And that's one reason I replenished so quickly. But so here's the question. Are Marauders worth it in 2025? In a moment, we'll open up my chests. We'll go over what I got. I'll give you a bit of the cliff notes now, which is to say, Marauders are pretty good. They're not amazing, but they're pretty good. What they mainly give you are speed ups. Speed ups are the really main reward you're going to be getting from Marauders. Yes, you get resources. Yes, you get gems. Yes, you get materials. But when you compare the gem value of those items compared to the speed ups, it's really a speed up game here. You get a lot of speed ups from this event because you're getting speed ups not only from the rewards of the Marauders, but you're also getting speed ups from just like killing the Marauders in the first place. You get drops just like you would normal barbarians there. And so I think that if you have the time and if you're someone who doesn't run out of AP, then Marauders are good to do. Marauders are even better if you're able to do them with a main account and a farm at the same time. What you're seeing me do now is I am playing my main city on my PC, and I'm using my phone to play my farm account. I'm sending the farm to these Marauders, like they're actually attacking the Marauders, and the main account is just sort of waiting around for the farm to get there, and then the main account will join in. If you can do this event with a farm, you're getting extra value because you're getting some pretty good speed ups and resources on the farm, which is pretty useful because then you can train troops with that stuff. And so if you have a lot of AP, it's good. If you have the time, it's good. And also if you really need speed ups, because just to get ahead of this a little bit, I'm going to end up getting about 110 days of speed ups from all the chests that I open. And, you know, if you're running short on speed ups going into a KVK, then Marauders are going to be a really good way to burn through your AP and get the speed ups you're going to need for fighting. So in that sense, Marauders are good, but they're not great. By no means are Marauders great. You can certainly get better value for your AP by chaining barbs, for example, or being really diligent about fort rallies with a lot of your farms. But that takes many days. Like chaining barbs all through the Lost Kingdom is a multi-week process. And as someone who has done this sort of barb fort farm filling thing before, that's also really time consuming, right? It's like you can only do one fort at a time. It takes about 10 minutes. And then you got to like check back in and launch another rally on your main, fill it up with all your farms. It's a lot of effort. Whereas with the Marauders, I just sat down for like 8 hours on day 1, 8 hours on day 2. I watched a movie on my other monitor. And you know, it was like pretty simple to do, right? And it was quick. It was very quick. So anyway, let's go ahead and go into the chests that I opened and take a look at those. So here we are. I collected 324 Kingdom Choice chests, which I believe is an all-time high for me. And now we're looking through all the items I got. You can see I got 34 8-hour speed ups, a modest amount of materials. The materials look like a lot when you're scrolling through, but once you add them up, not that great. I did pick up 6 3-day speed ups, which is pretty good for the amount of chests I got. I think that's, you know, pretty much average. I did have one teammate who did way less Marauders than me. She actually got 7 3-day speed ups. So you can get lucky at times with those really nice looking purple speed ups. And I'm just sort of scrolling back and forth here, adding up how many days of speed ups I got. Ultimately, I would get, I think, 57 days of speed ups from the actual chests. And then I got another 55 or so days of speed ups from just killing those Marauders. I'll give you the full totals here in a second. But yeah, this is what you're looking at from the Marauder chests. They do give you the basics that you want. Materials, resources, gems, speed ups. That's all quite good. And if you're an early game player, the gold keys and the purple blueprints are pretty useful also. But that is what I pulled off on the kingdom chests on my main account. Now we're looking at all the items I got added together. 112 days of speed ups. When you convert that into gem value at 600 gems per 24 hours of speed ups, that adds up to 67,000 gems of value. that is going to be significantly more than I got from just pure gems. It's certainly more than the 150 million or so resources I got. And then when you add in the materials that I got, that adds up to what I think is about 5.5 legendary materials there. The leather, iron, and ebony that I collected, that's only 13,000 gems of value in materials. So the speed ups dwarf everything else that I got. I also got, 25 days of speed ups in my farms, another 50 million resources on my farm. That's, a nice little added bonus. But, it really is those speed ups on the main. I essentially converted 115,000 AP into 110 days of speed ups plus some other stuff. Another way to look at it is that I converted 115,000 AP into roughly 100,000 gems worth of value. It's okay. It's nothing amazing, but it's, a nice way to spend a couple of days when I didn't have any work. Get those speed ups. I'll convert them very quickly into hospital emptying in the KVK we do have coming up. More coverage of that KVK as it kicks off. I plan on live streaming the Lost Kingdom opening tomorrow. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that live stream. Throw a like on this video if you enjoy the content. That's a great way to support the channel. And until next time, I will see you all on the flip side.